Good evening, guys. Welcome to another episode of The Drop Zone. As you can see, I'm joined by a wonderful panel today as we're going to go through what happened in this week in the WWE. Loads of action, loads to get through. We had a week off last week, but we're back this week, ready to go again. So let me start by introducing everyone tonight. Craig, how you doing, mate?
Yeah, good, thank you, mate. Glad to be here and have this back and escape from whatever worries and whatnot we have going on in the world at the minute.
Yeah, exactly. Tony, nice to have you on as well. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Missed it last week, so good to be back.
Good, we're back now, so we're all good. Let's roll. Tariq, how are you doing, pal? Thanks for coming on.
I'm doing really good. Glad to be on air after a day of butter chicken run, doing deliveries and everything.
Excellent. There's no perfect way to end an evening talking a bit about wrestling, eh? And Adam, how are you?
Very good, thanks, mate. Thanks for having me. Always a pleasure to be here. You okay?
I'm good, thank you very much. Long week already, but it's good. These shows kind of break up, which is good. So yeah, just to say hello to everyone who's watching, viewers in the chat. Come and say hello. Any questions you've got for the panel, post them in the chat, and we will answer them to the best of our knowledge. So let's get into it, guys. So SmackDown. Last week we kicked things off. Cody Rhodes was in the middle of the ring. Well, it was Randy Orton, wasn't it? First of all,
Yeah.
And he wanted an answer, didn't he, from Cody Rhodes as to why he's teaming with Roman. We got Kevin Owens then come out as well. What did you make of that? Is it obviously leading towards what we're thinking with Kevin?
Possibly? Yeah, I think someone's turning, and I think the key person at the moment, everyone's looking at KO, aren't they?
Yeah.
I kind of liked Randy's sort of, it's not a problem unless you make it one. So that's kind of him saying, we're mates, but if you make it a problem, I'm going to drop you, sort of thing. So it'd be interesting to see if it is KO or whether we do, or whether it's KO first and then maybe we see something with Randy down the line.
Yeah, potentially we could do. Kevin Owens, Tony hardly had the microphone before we had the Bloodline come down to the ring and interrupt. What was going to be Kevin Owens probably asking Cody, telling him what he thought of it, and it led to obviously the main event. What did you make of the Bloodline, obviously the interference and so on with the storyline that's going on at the moment? Do you potentially see, like Craig was saying, it's eventually leading to maybe Kevin Owens, but could you see it maybe them swerving it and it be Randy Orton instead?
Yeah, possibly. I mean, Randy Orton, obviously, later in the show, he said to Cody about, coming out to help if you need, you know what I mean? If we want you to come out, you know where we are. It's Bloodline against us. We're going to be outnumbered. So if we need help, then come out. But then Kevin Owens told him not to come out. Doesn't need help. So, yeah, I agree. I think I said earlier, I think it will lead to KO turning on him. I can't see any. But then again, Randy does have a history of turning on people. So, yeah.
Eventually, yeah, we could definitely see what's going to happen. I reckon something, could happen this Saturday potentially, but we'll get to that later on down the line when we talk about Bad Blood. Adam, is this the storyline? You see it going with the Cody and Roman team up that's happening. It was eventually going to rub up superstars the wrong way, wasn't it? And we're seeing it now, like the startings of people maybe questioning Cody.
Yeah, absolutely right. I think it's interesting. It's the way things kind of are. It's the right way to go at the moment. And like you say, we're not sure. Sat here, would it be KO that turns? Would it be Randy that turns? Would it be both of them? Would it be someone else? So I think just having that, we've all been saying for 6 months or for a long time, Cody needs something to kind of light the match under this title reign. Needs something interesting to happen. I think that's happening now. When's the last time you remember us really talking about Cody and being interested in what Cody's storyline is, really wondering where it's going to go, really having different ideas of where it's going to go. So, and this is just as it's kind of starting. So, yeah, I think that's a really good thing. I think it's obviously building towards kind of the next big 3 events. So obviously, you've got Rumble, so you've got Survivor Series, Rumble, and WrestleMania all the next kind of 6 months or so. So I think Cody's going to have a pretty hot 6 months from now, I like to think. And I think it's been a very slow burn, but I think it could go several different ways. They could, pivot depending on crowd reaction. Still, it might not be set in stone. Whatever's supposed to be happening. So, yeah, I think it's all very interesting.
No, it definitely is. Like I say, we sit here and we said about Cody's reign and how he hasn't been involved, but they're now starting to put him into storylines which are interesting and we're involved in. Potentially that's because Roman's back. We never know, but it is good viewing at the moment. And Tariq, Mr. Thomas put something there. I was literally going to ask you anyway. He sees a future of Randy Orton and Owens becoming a heel team. That's what I was kind of thinking. Them two maybe double teaming Cody Rhodes at some point, potentially Bad Blood, potentially SmackDown even before Bad Blood. What's your thoughts on that?
I don't want to give too much away because I want the title of Craig. But for this one, I sort of think that with the match, who's going to lose the match? You can't have Cody can't lose it. Roman, you can't get beat. Jacobs they want to build him up, and if Solo gets beat, then it's one of them ones where what's the point of War Games? So I can see something where Bad Blood is where they both turn heel. So it probably like a no contest type thing or helping the bloodline. It'll probably be one of them ones where they'll get frustrated on this SmackDown. Something will happen. And I think with the one where Kevin Owens didn't get a chance to say anything last SmackDown, it builds up that he can actually use this one to say something because the SmackDown, the only thing he said was when Cody sort of tried to matchmake the 6-man tag, and he was, no thanks, we don't need your help. We'll do it our own. So you can sort of see next week is the one where he will sort of like give more heel tendencies, and then probably both of them turn. Because I can't see one of them just turning and the other one following. It probably both together.
Yeah, definitely. I could see that happening definitely as well. Just to say good evening to Mr. Tom as well. He's saying that there could be a non-finish. Reigns ain't losing twice in a year. You never know. Stranger things have happened in the WWE at the moment. And then we went into our first match of the night, Tony. We had Bayley versus Naomi, and the winner would become the number one contender. And correct me if I'm wrong, are they fighting? Is it Bad Blood or is it this week on SmackDown? I can't remember.
I think it's this week on SmackDown.
Yeah, I think it's SmackDown on.
Oh no, is that Bad Blood? Sorry.
Oh, it is. You got made for Bad Blood, right? Okay.
Yeah, got made for Bad Blood.
So are we thinking? Is this Tiffy's time? Is it the cash in? It's being teased as well. Backstage segments. You saw Nia have her hands on Tiffy around the throat, which, if it depends who you are, is not necessarily a bad thing.
I think she enjoyed it, mate. I know I did.
So are we this potentially seeing?
I don't think I'd ever say this sentence. I've never wanted to be Nia Jax so much in my life. I didn't think I'd ever say that.
No, you and me both, mate. But could this potentially be Tiffy's time to cash in, or would you see it somewhere else along the line?
Again, I think it's one of them things that they could prolong it a bit more. They could possibly do it at Bad Blood. She could come down. Nia Jax gets absolutely annihilated by Bayley. I can't really see that happening. I think it makes sense for the story to carry on a bit longer between them two because it's not actually been. I mean, I've always been that she's quite boring, Nia Jax, but since she's come back, she's not been too bad. She's had the storyline she's been in have been good. Her in-ring ability has improved a lot more. I think she's got honed in her craft and her ability a lot better. So yeah, I mean, if this carried on, I'd be all for it. But then, if Tiffy does cash in Money in the Bank on Saturday evening, then I wouldn't be disappointed either. So yeah, I think it will happen, but I think we may see it in a couple of months' time.
And Mr. Tom's putting in the chat there, he thinks Nia Jax should beat Tiffy when she cashes in. Maybe controversial statement there. And he agrees.
Wouldn't she be? Sorry. Wouldn't she be the first woman to not successfully cash in?
Yeah.
If she doesn't?
Yeah. So. And he's saying Nia Jax is performing career high level work. She is. She has got better since she's come back. Hell of a lot.
Apart from slipping on water.
Yeah. Let's forget that segment.
Well, that could have been anyone. Do you know what I mean?
And then Adam, we had a little backstage segment. We had Andrade you saw LA Knight, and they wanted to talk about the handshake that wasn't a handshake last week on SmackDown, and then we had Carmelo Hayes eventually blindside LA Knight, and then it led into the match, which was actually another great match from the two of them, and then LA Knight, other than that, coming out and costing Andrade the victory. There's been no thoughts of a setup of a match or anything at the moment, but they're having, I think it's one more match again next week. Michael Cole alluded to, let's have a seventh, like the NBA series is. Is this going to eventually lead to like maybe a triple threat match? Is that the only way to kind of end this thing with the three of them?
Yes, potentially. First of all, I need to go back and watch. So I remembered when I was watching it, I need to watch the week before because I'm sure at the end, LA Knight did shake his hand. But maybe he went for the fist pump.
He went to fist pump him. Andrade grabbed, and then he sort of changed it to a handshake.
Yeah, but okay. But one thing I will say is that was a genuine kind of jump scare almost for me. Blindsided when Carmelo whacked him. I wasn't, it took me by surprise, which is good. I mean, look, these matches have been really good. Best of 7. It's proper kind of old school. It's WCW kind of thing, wasn't it? You said the best of 7 series, so. Yeah, but enjoying it, and obviously, the three of them in the feud, you've got to have some sort of blow off. So, yeah, I guess it probably will be, and I suspect it'll be Carmelo Hayes walking away with the title, because I think it'll come down to Andrade and LA Knight being too focused on each other, and he'll kind of sneaky, get the win out of nowhere sort of thing, and walk away with the title. Not bad blood, maybe Survivor Series.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you. I do think Carmelo Hayes will come out as the person on top of this feud rather than it being, Andrade or LA Knight. But it's definitely great. They're great matches to watch, to be fair. Like, they're not boring. They're not skippable. No. The guys, the Spanish fly they do and stuff like that, the standing one from the top row is great. And their in-ring work is tremendous, to be fair. But we'll stay tuned to see what happens with that. And then, Tariq, I'll come to you the next one, mate. We had Michin versus Piper Niven. Kind of just maybe a time filler, but it's obviously leading up to Chelsea Green's match next week in Trashville, as it's being labelled now, not Nashville, in a dumpster match. Is it something that we want in 2024?
Yeah, we do. Well, I do. Chelsea Green in a dumpster match. That's just the highlight of the year. No, it's one of them ones where you want Chelsea Green to feature more, and I don't think they'll give her like a Bailey or a Naomi while they're fighting for the title. But it's something that keeps her relevant, and she's good with like the funny stuff, gimmicks, and so on. So, what better gimmick than a dumpster match and using all the trash cans and so on? And she can pull out some sort of like hardcore moves with like I'm saying like a Shane McMahon coast to coast type thing, but I don't think she'll do something like that. But it'd help Michin as well because she's got that that streak where she can beat Sorry, I'm just reading Tom's message.
Yeah. I have to ask the difficult questions, Tom. I'm sorry. I have to play devil advocate sometimes. I want it myself. Don't get me wrong, but I have to ask.
But I'm looking forward to it. Chelsea Green actually in a match like that.
Yeah, we all know it's going to be entertaining to say the least, 100%. And then we went. Well, it was a pretty short SmackDown, to be fair. We went into our main event, Craig. We had the Bloodline. They did come out on top against Randy Orton and Kevin Owens after Cody Rhodes got thrown into the official. He prevented the 3 count, and then Solo stole the win, didn't he? And then Owens confronted Rhodes, and Orton had to get in front of him. It was literally, from what we saw at the beginning of the night, this was probably the best way to close out the show, wasn't it? Just to keep that momentum going, keep that feeling that Owens is going to switch at any time. How did you find the match, mate? And the ending, was it kind of good for you to set up for what's coming at Bad Blood?
Yeah, I thought the match was all right for a main event. Cody getting thrown into the ring and knocking the ref. I mean, the ref deserves an Oscar for that award-winning fall. But yeah, the outcome of it was kind of what we needed. That tension building between KO and Cody. Everyone's going, go on, smack him, but it was never going to happen. They're just teasing us at the minute. And I think going back to what we were talking about earlier, I think there will be something more on Friday night, whether they do come to blows or not, which then makes you think they might get involved or they might just tease it again, which still leads to us saying, oh, will they get involved? It's set it up nicely to see whether Randy gets involved, because I don't think he's too happy. Obviously, I think he's going to side with KO, sorry, if anything does kick off. So yeah, it's definitely set it up nicely.
Yeah, no, definitely. And Mr. Tom will get to Raw and that whole ending. Trust me, we've got time for that. But yeah, that was your SmackDown, really. Only really a couple of matches. I think it was literally 3 matches in that night, 4 matches maybe. Yeah, but it wasn't too bad of a SmackDown. I'm going to go for a 7 this week on SmackDown. Wasn't the best, wasn't the greatest, but it's still the Carmelo and Andrade match really put it up to a 7 for me. Craig, what about yourself?
Yeah, I'm going to go the same. I think the same with the match, but for me, it was we got more storytelling. So it's setting up things, you've got the triple threat potential being set up for the United States. Then you've got the whole KO and Cody. So it was more that side of things for me than probably the matches.
Yeah. Tony?
Yeah, I'd go for a 7. I think it was a decent show, but I was reading something online quickly about I think Carmelo will end up winning the US title, but then Andrade questions himself and starts thinking that his ability is not as good and so on. And then Charlotte Flair comes back before her injury is healed and becomes his little sidekick manager to try and do so. I mean, that would be interesting to see. But yeah, so 7 out of 10. Sorry,
that's all right. No worries. Tariq?
Let's go 4 for 4. It's a solid 7 from me.
7. And Adam
for the clean sweep.
Go on, then, let's go to clean sweep. 5 of us, 5 7s, 35.
There you go.
Right.
Perfect scores all around. Love it. Panels all agreeing. So yeah, then we move on to Monday Night Raw, and it was the last 3-hour Monday Night Raw, which I'm actually quite glad about, because Raw can be very time consuming, especially for people who've got other things going and stuff like that. And we kicked off with Jey Uso coming down to ring side to celebrate his title victory. We saw his son as well, which was a nice touch. And then he was in the ring. I'll go back to you, Craig, because I just want to talk about. I thought something was wrong with Jey Uso when he was talking on the microphone. He just seemed, for people, I don't know, he just seemed like he was a bit, wasn't there. I don't know if you guys kind of agree.
He's probably still either hungover on some sort of narcotics.
Yeah. I don't know if it was.
Or the way that bird was jumping on him, he probably caught an STD.
Yeah. Shout out to the blonde bird at the beginning.
Mate. She was in her element, mate. She was loving life. I think he was just a bit it was like he kind of remembered some of the stuff, then the other stuff he had to sort of wing it, like he didn't really know what he just seemed a little bit dazed with it.
Yeah.
I
think he was going down, I think he was going down the emotion route, because then he brought up his mum and stuff like that. So I think that's why. And then Tony, we saw Braun Breaker come down and we thought, well, here we go. It's going to be a rematch. But in a surprising turn of events, he paid homage to Jey Uso, didn't he, and showed him a bit of respect.
Yeah, I think, again, people, unless they've been living under a rock, have probably read it online that he's probably going to do a babyface turn now. I think he's literally how WWE have planned it is perfect. I could see him literally. What he'll do now is for the next 3 to 6 months, he'll just literally just squash people. I know he's been doing it as a heel, but doing it as a face, getting all the cheers and everything behind him. I think they'll do it. I think probably 2 people you don't want to mention on the show, but when Vince McMahon did it with Ryback, how they did with him, and he was just literally just feeding him, giving him people, and eventually took him to, I think it was John Cena he beat, and he ended up, I think he did win the title, didn't he, Ryback?
No, I don't think he did. He was never champion, no.
I think he got screwed by the Shield, didn't he? And
and CM Punk.
and that's where that kind of came from, yeah.
Okay, well,
I'm calling it now. I know it's live, but Bron's in my top 3 to win the Rumble.
Yeah.
Interesting like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't mention right back to CM Punk. But yeah. As
but
Mr.
yeah,
Tom.
no. Obviously, with Bron turning face, that was him coming down, showing respect. I think it puts closure to that rivalry now,
Yeah.
and then it just move on after that.
Yeah. And shout out as well to add in the globes and the colour on the Intercontinental title belt.
Ooh.
Looks
Yeah,
a
looks
hell of
good,
a lot
doesn't it?
better.
Nice, yeah.
Yeah.
It just gives it the old school feel of the Intercontinental title, which I thought it was lacking since it got changed over. Mr. Tom, he reckons Dwayne Johnson is top 1 to win Royal Rumble, the actor, or actually The Rock. Would be interesting. But Adam, I'll just go to you because we're just going to skip ahead of Raw just for the time being and talk about a little backstage segment with Braun Breaker and Gunther. And he was staring at that title like I stare at Tiffany on the screen. But is that potentially ruining what's coming up with the Sami Zayn storyline, etc., like that? Do you think they've give too much away there?
No, not necessarily, because he's looking at the title, not at Gunther, remember? So somebody else could have it over their shoulder and around their waist. He could be looking at that again. I think that's good. I think it's, realistic. I think it's sensible. He's a young up-and-comer. He's just lost the Intercontinental title, so he's got his eyes on the biggest prize. He wants to go and win the world title. And if there's anything wrong with planting a little seed there, it could be Gunther, it could be Sami, it could be someone else in 6 months. If he wins the Rumble, there you go. It'll be 6 months when he's got a title shot at Mania.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's something I would actually like to see Gunther and Braun Breaker as well in a match. That would be quite a match. But we'll see what happens because I know Sami Zayn's got his title shot on Raw. So the Raw after Bad Blood. So it'd be interesting to see what happens there. Just want to give a little shout as well and wish him well. Ilya Dragunov was sadly injured at a pay-per-view, a live event, and he is out for up to 9 months with an ACL.
It was against Gunther as well, wasn't it?
It was against Gunther as well, yeah. So we wish him all the best and speedy recovery. 9 months is a long time to be out, but come back stronger. Mr. Tom reckons Sami Zayn's going to win next week. You never know. He picked Sami Zayn at Mania and made me look a fool. We'll definitely be interested to see that. Tariq, we then went into our kind of first match of the night and we had Xavier Woods pick up the win against Rey Mysterio. And Dark Arts has been thrown around a lot lately. And if there was any ever Dark Arts, it was in this match. And Xavier Woods pulling off Rey's mask. We had the glimpse of the face. That's all we ever get nowadays. But what did you make of that? They're building Xavier Woods quite well, I reckon.
Yeah, I loved it. It was the darkest of dark arts. It was brilliant, and the match itself was a bit sort of like hurry up and get to the end and let's see what happens. But the way he pulled the mask, it was like just make it look like he didn't like purposely pull it. It was like trying to do a snap and pulled it, and you could tell from when Rey Mysterio went for the 619 and he pulled his strap down, you knew something was going to happen with the mask.
Yeah,
but it's a good way to give him that sneaky sort of win, but not show his full heel tendencies just yet because of turning on Kofi is probably the end goal. So just something where it's dark hearts like that, and with Karrion Kross still being there in the background here and there, it's something where that devil is speaking on his shoulders. But it was beautiful the way he did it.
Yeah, I just have to laugh at Mr. Tom. I love how Ray reacts like this. There is literally, he wrestled in WCW without the mask. But yeah, in WWE, no one's ever seen his face. Adam, I'll just go to you on this whole Xavier Woods, because I know you've been a strong advocate to say they're not going to disband, and this whole thing is to reignite the 10-year anniversary. And that, has anything changed with what you've seen on Raw this week?
No, don't get me wrong. I think it's still playing the same way. I think it's obviously getting to a point where we're going to find out either way. It's getting towards a crescendo. They can't keep kind of teasing for another, 3, 4, 6, 8 weeks. I think after around Survivor Series, either Bad Blood, either at Bad Blood or the Raw after, we'll get our answer, I think. And like I said, I think it will be a feel-good moment. I think, they'll really tease the breakup. It'll look like it, but then someone, probably Big E, will come and they'll reunite, they'll reignite. It'll be a nice feel-good moment. That's my prediction there.
Cool. I will look forward to see what happens, because I do kind of agree it's brewing. It's coming towards the payoff now. So eventually we'll see what that is. The next match we had Zoe Stark defeated Lyra Valkyria by pinfall. We had Caden and Carter, or Caden and Katana, return. And which one was it? Katana, she looked like a woman possessed with a mask on, who's obviously recovering from a broken nose, which was suffered at the hands of Tom's favourite team, PFC. And then we went into a promo which was filled with the worst security guards I've ever seen in my life. We had CM Punk, Craig, and Drew McIntyre meet inside the Hell in a Cell. CM Punk give one of them a dirty look, which I found quite funny. It was a very dark and raw promo from Punk, and I thought it was excellent just before their match, and it's just what it needed. What was your thoughts on the segment, mate? Craig, sorry.
Sorry, I was going to say I didn't hear you say a name.
Sorry, mate.
That's all right. Yeah, I thought it was good. I didn't. Yeah, the security guards just looked like they were fans picked out in the queue. I thought it set up really well. You know, Punk saying he had nothing to say to him, but then he had everything to say to him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, saying he was staying in a hotel room and he was going to send him back in a box. Like, they're just going to bat a fuck out of each other, aren't they? And I'm all for it, mate. I think it's going to be unbelievable. It's, you know, we throw out the match of the night card, but I think it's going to be up there, innit? 100%.
Yeah.
Like, they've just been going at it now, backwards and forwards. The insults, like the one with Larry the dog. You've seen him on X.
Yeah.
He did the one from Futurama where he's waiting outside the pizzeria, and then he did the one from Anchorman where Jack Black kicks it over the bridge. Like, it's just been brilliant, mate. Like, the rivalry and the banter and the back and set, like, they are literally just going to give everything on Saturday night.
The only thing that disappointed me, if Larry don't come down to ringside in a hood and help CM Punk, then I'll be disappointed.
Yeah.
Right? It's so low to cover. No, it's not. It's Larry the dog.
It's Larry the dog.
But no, Tony. Next up, we had the Judgment Day, who we saw arrive earlier in. It reminds you of Eddie's Lowrider. That's what they're basically trying to reciprocate, aren't they?
Pretty much.
And Finn Balor was late through travel issues. But we saw them, Judgment Day picked up the win against LWO, and they stayed in the ring during the commercial break. And we had Rhea Ripley come out, and Damian Priest was obviously behind her. And then we actually found out that Dominic Mysterio's got a fear of claustrophobic spaces, and he got thrown in the shark cage. What did you make of the segment? Was it good for you? Did you feel it's made obviously Rhea and Priest look kind of strong? I know it didn't end up that way at the end of it, but what's your thoughts on it going into Bad Blood?
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed the segment. I think anything with Judgment Day in it is quite funny. I think they're probably one of the best free things on Raw at the moment. I think that Dominic is proving everyone that he's so good at what he's doing. I think it's like when they threw him in there, he's like, "Don't put me back in there. I'm scared. I don't want to go back in jail." Yeah. Like, you were in there for like 20 minutes, not even that. But he makes out like he was there for hours and days and that. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I think it made Rhea and Priest look really strong. I won't give away my prediction for the event.
No, don't.
On thing.
I'm not.
But yeah, I can see another good match between the two girls, and obviously seeing him hanging from the thing will be quite entertaining in itself. But yeah, I enjoyed it.
Cool. Next up, we had Chad Gable. He defeated Kofi Kingston because of an eventual interference from Xavier Woods. And obviously, we've touched on it a little bit earlier about our thoughts on what's going on with that sort of side of things. But it'd be interesting to see. We then had Tariq. We had Gunther and Sami Zayn in the ring, and Gunther's now finally agreed to give Sami his title shot. He got him in the end, didn't he? He played into him and hit the right buttons, and Sami Zayn's got what he wants.
Yeah, I think what it was is it's that bit where they said he's afraid of the his reputation, where losing to the Intercontinental title match, it's like a blemish, and he's probably embarrassed with his family, thinking he's lost to the worst person possible. So it's that thing that got under his skin, and the bit about where he saw was it, but something he looked his father in the eye afterwards, and his father came all the way from, was it Vienna
Yeah,
or
yeah.
somewhere, and to lose to a bum like Sammy, it was brilliant. And that's
Thought
the
you were
thing
going
that
to attempt to say it in German for a second then.
no, I can't do German. But it was good because the bit where Zayn said that Gunther crumbled and so on, it just made him look like a loser. It's that thing where if you're embarrassing someone, like saying your parents or your family are embarrassed about you, you're a failure. That's what got the thing. But it's like with a week or so to go for their match, they thought, what can we do? We can't say no all the time because that'll be a bit boring. So looking forward to their match next. Is it Monday?
Yeah, next Monday on Raw
Yeah.
after Bad Blood.
Yeah.
It was.
So it was good.
Go on.
That was good. It was good that they had that match, did that thing, because I think what they were trying to look for is that Dragunov, where he would have been the challenger, but because of his ACL injury, they've thought, let's get the match out of the way, and then build a new person for Gunther, which I think he'll win. Which the Bron Breakker thing's coming, so it's all interlinked. But looking forward to the match.
Yeah, no, definitely. It was getting to a point where I thought Sami Zayn was going to go all Batista and just keep repeating, "Give me what I want, give me what I want." It was getting to that point. But no, because it's not a pay-per-view, we can all give a prediction for next Monday Night Raw because there won't be a show until next week. So I'm going to run round and grab each one of your predictions. I'm going to go for a Gunther to retain the title. I just feel it's disrespectful to say bigger things down the line, but I just feel there's a bigger match somewhere down the line that the title might change hands. Craig, what about yourself?
Yeah, I'm going the same. I just don't see him dropping it at the minute. I think they've already had him lose to Sammy once now. They want to kind of make him that stronger, better. He's learned from his mistakes, sort of thing. I can't see him dropping it.
Cool, Tony.
Again, I agree with you both. I think Gunther's going to win, but I don't think it's going to be as clear cut as everyone thinks. I think Sammy is going to, as he always does, put his heart out there in the ring, and he's going to have some near falls. There's going to be some. I think probably Ludwig Kaiser will come down. I think at one point they'll be thinking Sammy's going to win. He'll come down, do something, but yeah, basically Gunther will win, but not as easy as everyone thinks.
Cool, Tariq.
I think it's got to be a Gunther win, and I think it'll be the same sort of match where was it early this year or last year when Chad Gable had the match with Gunther where it went on for ages, and he had that he fought valiantly, but he couldn't beat the genius that is Gunther. It's the same sort of thing.
Cool. And Adam, your thoughts on next week?
So I think Gunther will retain the title. I think it might be unclear. It might be a double DQ. It might be a count out. It might be something like that. I.e., I think they'll have one more rematch at Survivor Series, kind of winner takes all, as it were. So yeah, Gunther will still be the champion, but he won't win cleanly or clearly. There'll be some sort of shenanigans, some sort of doubt, some sort of non-finish, whatever. And then I'll have a winner takes all final rubber match, whatever you want to call it, at Survivor Series.
Definitely. No, good shouts there, guys. Definitely. Mr. Tom, he reckons it should play out like AJ James Ellsworth. Jesus.
James Ellsworth.
And he agrees with you there, Adam.
Mr.
Mr. Tom literally agrees with you there. Next, we went on to, I haven't got any pictures to be fair of this one, but we had the heel turn of the night. The Miz has now turned on R-Truth. I don't think anybody could see that coming, could they? But no, it's we need the Miz back. The Miz, in my kind of eyes. Craig, what was your thoughts on the Miz turning and him doing it at that particular point in the match?
Well, mine's kind of tied in with what I'm going to discuss a bit later.
Okay. Oh, if you want to leave that, should we move on?
There's a few, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. I won't. I'll mention it later.
Tony,
Yeah.
okay, to you then. What was your thoughts on Miz's heel turn?
Yeah. Like you said, we didn't see that coming, did we? I think the funniest part of it was, I think it was on WWE's digital exclusives after R-Truth. They spoke to him and he said he still thinks I'm part of the Judgment Day. That's why he did it. It's like, the thing is, R-Truth, he's going to still believe that him and Miz are together. And yeah, again, it's a bit of comedy. It's a bit of fun. But I do agree with you. The Miz he proved a lot of people wrong, because in documentaries in past they said that he wouldn't last 5 minutes, coming from the real world and coming from MTV, and he's no wrestling background, but he's been there for decades so now, and he's doing such a good job. But we need the heel Miz, because that's the best version of him.
Adam, do you kind of agree that's the sort of Miz that we're kind of lacking? That the evilish Miz who gets in people's faces, wins dirty and stuff like that, takes titles, and people think, oh, he's going to lose it this week, but eventually comes out on top.
Yeah, I mean, as everyone said, and Mr. Tom's put in the chat, so I'm going to I agree with Mr. Tom. It's you have to have heel Miz. Babyface Miz just doesn't work. It's not the Miz. And it's very entertaining, him as a heel, kind of the chicken shit kind of heel, who you kind of love to hate. It's much better to see that.
Yeah, definitely. Anybody who puts that, says you put my hand goes up, your mouth goes shut.
Yeah.
Definitely deserves to be a heel. And then, Tariq, we'll go on to the main event of the night. And it was quite a main event, to be fair. It had everything. Tables, chairs, ring breaks, a returning visionary. What did you make of it? There was too many adverts for my liking in it, to be fair. It broke the match up a bit too much, and they didn't have quite long enough. But what was your thoughts, mate, on the carnage that we saw?
Mate, I absolutely love it. It was beautiful. It's like the old Big Show and Brock Lesnar sort of fights and the ring breaks. You knew the ring break was happening, but it was a bit sort of like silly. It was that silly sort of match where it was fun. So it wasn't just them two fighting each other in a slobber knocker, as Jim Ross loved to say. It was like over the top. So them sort of like doing stuff where you think this ain't real. At least it wasn't a tsunami over the announcer table like he did when he came back. But it was beautifully put out for a main event, and I think we're giving Bronson Reed that out where he got the stomp on the steel steps. It gives that he's still a monster heel, but they've not taken anything away from him.
No, Mr. Tom enjoys it because it's big meaty men slapping me. But Craig, we had Seth Rollins returning. I was doing a bit of looking around on the internet earlier today. I was reading the show was overrunning, so that's why he had no music hit and stuff like that. Do you feel it worked better with him just running down, no music, nothing like that? Do you feel that kind of worked better?
Yeah, 100%. Because all people were seeing was someone running down a ring, and they're down the ramp to the ring, and nobody knew kind of who it was apart from those people that were like front row. So it kind of was like, I saw it from the camera angle. I was like, who's that running? And then it clicked. I was like, oh, he's back. So yeah, I thought it just added that little bit more excitement and whatnot than just hitting his music and it's him sort of thing. But no, it was good to see him back. That will definitely set up a rivalry between them two.
Yeah, no, definitely. And what we didn't see after the match was obviously Rollins and Strowman embrace each other at the top of the Titan, trying to hug and holding his arm, which was nice to see, because for a minute there, you could have thought Braun Strowman was maybe a bit angry that he's interfered, but no, they're not going down that route. But all in all, for the last 3-hour Raw, I thought it was a top show, to be fair. Adam, I'll start with you for your rating.
Yeah, I agree. So well above average. So I'm going to give it a very strong 8.
Excellent. Tariq?
We're not going to go clean 5 for 5 here. I'm going to go a 9.
Cool. Tony?
I'd go an 8.
8 as well. And Craig?
Yeah, I think I agree with the other two. Yeah, 8.
8. And I'm going with Tariq this week. I'm going with a 9 as well. Just something about big men slapping each other. Really pushes it up there. The only other way it would have got a 10 if someone else got involved in a match. Maybe the Big Show or someone like that. Mr. Thomas give it 8 out of 10. Could have had a 9 if Maurice kicked Truth in the balls. You never know, mate. It could be coming up in the next few weeks. She could be returning with him, but we'll see. And she's doing a lot better, which is good to hear as well from her illness. Tariq, you're up, mate. It's time for your NXT roundup.
So this week's NXT was the first time they've moved over to the CW network. Mm-hmm. So they're not on the old network, which means that they're not on the WWE network anymore. So that's a bit of a bummer. Mm-hmm. But they had a show in Chicago, which looked good that they were on a proper arena rather than the NXT Performance Center. Started off with Shawn Michaels was in the ring he came in to start, and Triple H came in to say, "Are you ready?" Do the "Are you ready?" bit, which they started it off, which was brilliant. But they also introduced 2 new titles for the men and women. It was new titles, so they were quite good. They look basic, but basic sometimes looks better than all the crap that goes on some of the ones that they've previously had with the big X.
Yeah, mate. I didn't like the old version. It had like a rainbow effect, didn't it, or something on it?
Which... Yeah, I was never a fan, and it was like, no, these look quite neat. So they did that, and then when they were in the ring, they introduced the first match, which was Roxanne versus Julia for the NXT Women's title. It was a good match, hard hitting, and it was Cora Jade came out at the end. Well, she was in a hooded jacket. It wasn't Solo or anyone. It wasn't Larry the Dog. It was Cora Jade, and for people who haven't watched NXT before, Cora Jade and Roxanne were best friends, and before Cora returned heel. So it was a bit weird and beautiful to see her helping her old friend out. So then after that, they had a segment in the back in the GM area with Ava, and CM Punk was there, but it was cut by Lexis King came in, which is Brian Pillman's son, and he was saying, I could do with some advice from CM Punk, and Punk said, because I respect your dad, I'll help you. I'll give you some advice. And he said he lost dirty last week against Oro Menza. He goes, you should try winning all costs. You should be like your dad. Don't try to be something that you're not. You use the Pillman gene. You need to cheat sometimes and so on, so you'll do well. Which was a good way to have. Yeah, it is a crime, but he's got to stand out.
Yes,
but it's beautiful, and the beard's it's legendary. And then they had the street fight match between the MSK partners, Wenz and Wesley. It was proper hard hitting for, as you can tell from 2 people who are best friends, and there was a turn. There was like steel chair shots to the back, throw through wooden floorboards, swanton bombs on trash cans, and there was a bit of a move where he went. Zach went for a UFO cutter, but Wes threw him over the top rope, and he was supposed to go through the table, but he missed the table, and he hit the back of his head.
Yeah, I saw that.
He was thinking, that's horrible. That could be a bit. Well, that's a bit of a botch, but luckily he got back up, and there was quite a few moves after high flying moves after that, and the match ended when Zach Wentz went for grabbing a chair and saying he didn't want to hit Wes with it, but he sort of took a bit of time, so Wes gave him a low blow and then started beating him with a chain around his fists with the punches, and then he put him on a chair and then put the chains around his knees and went for that meteora thing that Sasha Banks used to do. And so Wes won with that, which was a really good match. And now, because it's 1-1, you can sort of see that they'll probably have a rubber match, which will be brilliant. I'd sort of love for it to be over on TNA sort of thing, of like not like a Hell in a Cell, but whatever they call it, like Monsters Ball or whatever the mess is there. But that'd be a good match for them to have. And then we had the newly heel Miz TV, and like you guys were saying, Miz as a heel is beautiful. He give the old proper heel look. He goes healing on the crowd. It was beautiful, and then he called out the Obafemi, who came out first. It was like a sit down. Obafemi with the silk shirt, the old rock style shirt. It was beautiful. I thought the final boss had told him what to wear. And then Tony D'Angelo came out with his family, but then they sort of went to the back. And they talked about what I mentioned a couple of weeks ago, that Tony D'Angelo's been a bit scared. And he thinks Obafemi is this guy who cannot be beat. And they were saying that now he's built up courage to fight him, and he's going to win the actual. He's going to actually beat Obafemi. But Obafemi was like, "No, you're not going to beat him. He's the most dominant NXT champion ever." And Tony was like, "Yeah, I felt your power, aggression, and your explosiveness, or whatever he called it," which was a bit. He was getting into that sort of like way he was saying stuff about him, but the fans were doing the old Steve Austin bit, which sort of was a bit. It sort of let it down a little bit. But he was saying that Tony, like he said, his family are there, his friends are there, immediate family, extended, and he's actually going to climb over that hurdle to win them. So they got up at the end and they were like face to face, and Tony said that Obafemi is just a man, but he said this man, and he did the old. I know you guys are all Marvel fans. He did the old Thanos, "I am inevitable," and then Tony D'Angelo put his head down, and you thought, this is beautiful the way they've done it, and it's gone into that Rocky 3 sort of scenario where you can sort of see who's gonna be the Adrian to Tony's Rocky, giving him that speech, and I can see it. Well, I'm hoping not, but I can see it one where this will be the one where they'll probably put him over and let Obafemi lose. I'm hoping not, but we'll wait and see.
That'd be interesting.
That's next week, so we don't have to wait too long. And then there was just a quick backstage segment where the interviewer caught up with Cora Jade about why she helped. She goes, "People have forgotten about me. They're talking about Julia. They're talking about the Stephanie, whatever her name is, who's coming in." So she's there, and they've got others coming in. So people have forgotten about her. And then Roxanne said, "What's going on?" And they bragged about being old friends, and said sometimes a common enemy can bring friends back together again. Which, so for someone who's watched NXT for a while, I liked the Cora Jade and Roxanne team. So hopefully, them as a heel team will be fantastic. So it'll be really good. And then we had. And then we had.
We all know why she was away, Mr. Tom. We definitely know why. We saw it. We saw it.
I know, but we're keeping it PG. Now, then we had a tag match, which is Jada Parker and Lola Vice. I mean, they've been feuding with, like, they're the female version of Cody and Kevin Owens, where there's always a bit of niggle going on. And they had a match against, I can't remember the name, Fatal Influence or whatever they're called. That trio group in NXT. So JC Jane and Fallon Henley. And it was one of them matches where there was clunky stuff going on because them Jada and Lola Vice were bickering each other. There was like bumping into each other and not seeing tags and all that sort of thing. So you knew something was going on. And the end happened where Lola Vice was accidentally pushed into Jada Parker, who didn't see her because she was looking somewhere else. And then she thought the Lola had actually hit her and then walked out. So leaving Lola to fight on her own against the other two, which she succumbed to because she couldn't beat the two of them. And their finisher, the Fatal Influence, is like a knee to the back and a Shining Wizard, which is a good move, but with that team, they're a bit rubbish.
Mm.
And then Fatal Influence then took the mic and called out Kelani Jordan, the women's North American champion, and said, "We want the championship." And she said, "Let's go right now." And she was like 1 versus 3. And what she said is she's not come. She's gonna fight, but she's not come alone. And then the Storm is coming. Music played, and then her and Bianca, Jade and Bianca came, and they cleared the heels out the ring to stand tall, which leads to next week where them three will be fighting Fatal Influence, which you know what's going to happen. It's going to be just batter them.
Yeah.
Then we got like a quick promo from Javon Evans, who is fighting Randy Orton next week in St. Louis Arena, so in Randy's hometown. And he was saying that Randy was one of his original G's, as he says. And he said he's happy to face him and it'll be really good. And then they had a video with Randy Orton saying, "I see a bit of myself in Javon when I was young, so I like to give him a chance." So it should be a really good match next week because of Randy's like with the ring, and Javon is a high flyer, so the styles will mesh. I think it'll be a really good match next week. And then they came to the main event, which was Ethan Page versus Trick Williams for the NXT Championship. And this had CM Punk as the referee. So it was a good match. It was more outside the ring with steel steps, announce tables, and an Ego's Edge on the outside onto the announcer's table, which didn't break, which is rubbish. And then it ended up with Trick sort of hit Page with a bookend for a 2 count, and then Ethan Page got back at Trick, and then it was a 2 count that way, and he was getting mouthy with CM Punk, and CM Punk called him a son of a bitch because he's calling it down the middle. And then Ethan Page did the old SmackDown versus Raw finisher. You know, he steals someone's finisher. He did that. He picked Trick up, did a go to sleep on him right in front of Punk.
Oh wow!
And Punk had this look on him like looks could kill. And luckily he got out at 2. And then Page went for the Ego's Edge, where he sort of like he tried doing it, but Trick fell off, and CM Punk sort of like inadvertently helped Trick up, like give him an assist. And the match ended when he tried going for a kick, but then missed it. And then the Trick shot knee, what you saw on the picture, Trick hit that on Page and won the match. And then at the end, Ethan Page was getting mouthy with CM Punk, like trying to push him, and then a go to sleep to finish it. But I think in the match, it was one of them ones where it just, I think because they've gone on to the new network, it was rushing it. Like we said, what Raw was rushing at the end.
Yeah.
It felt like this one was rushing, where they were like, hurry up with it and get over. So it was good to see like Trick Williams actually get the title back, because they've not got many high quality baby faces there since my friend's gone back over to TNA. So it's good to have him as a babyface champion, because they've got quite a lot of heels there. And I sort of like see that it'll be one where Obafemi could be the next challenger to him. And that's where I was on about maybe Tony D'Angelo takes the NXT North American Championship, and Oba takes the goes against Trick, sort of like what Bron Breakker and Gunther is on Raw, the same sort of thing. So next week should be good. It's NXT sort of is a 9 out of 10 for me. There was some great matches, and the segment on Miss TV between Obafemi and Tony D'Angelo was brilliant. It's a brilliant promo, so 9 out of 10.
Cheers, mate. Thank you for that roundup of NXT. That's brilliant. Just want to shout out as well to CM Punk, who put on Shawn Michaels refereeing gear. I don't know if anybody has seen that. I was literally not bringing up a picture of that on this stream, as it's not classified. It will probably get shut down, to be fair. Joey Andrew challenges Dolph Ziggler bound for glory. Mr. Tom says the sense of TNA belt could be going in at the Rumble. Interesting. But no, thank you very much, Tariq, for that. That was brilliant. But yeah, CM Punk, what are you doing, mate? Craig, you're up next, mate, with your Wyatt 6 fix.
Right, so not really going to touch on anything last week. Just going to focus on sort of what happened on Raw this week. We got a promo video. I don't want to go too much into that because there's so much other stuff to go into. I don't really want to be here all night. I'm going to go with the main thing that was taken away with it from it, and that was that the bride was finally revealed. Or was it? Because a lot of people are saying they're not too sure who this is. Is it Nikki? Is it Alexa? Is it someone else? So I'm not going to sort of ask you all to explain your reasoning. I'm just going to go around and just say Nikki, Bliss, someone else. Jonesy.
Molly Holly. No, it's. I don't know who that is. To me, it looks like Nikki.
Tony. I mean, do I need to ask you?
No.
Yeah.
I mean, think with your head, not somewhere else.
The head up, above your shoulders. That one.
I might even go with someone else.
Someone else.
Yeah.
Tarek.
It looks a bit like Nikki Cross.
Adam.
Someone else.
Yeah. See, I'm very much Nikki or someone else. I don't think it's Alexa.
No.
Matthew Freddy.
Definitely not.
I don't think it was Braun Strowman. Put it that way. So
No, that one definitely wasn't Braun Strowman. No.
Yeah.
And then obviously towards the end we got another QR code this week. The code takes us back to the Exordium webpage. This originally featured a countdown before the group's debut back in June. The text has changed from "We're here" to "Do not force our hand," which now looks like this. The first new hidden image is this, titled "Impressive." It features binary code that reads, "Friends are the family we choose for ourselves. Don't let your pride overcome you. You know better." Difficult to make out what is in the background behind the numbers. That's the Matrix, this one. People are saying it could be a character, it could be just the Nightbirds, it could be a Pluto. No one's sort of cracked what that one is yet. Then came prologue, clearly a letter directed at someone, but who? Signs from the past couple of weeks point to Braun Strowman, but we will have to wait and see. Interesting how the U's are replaced with we's. So it says, "I hope you haven't forgot us. We miss you, but if we don't allow opportunity for repentance, whatever that says, we are no better than the liars and the swine. Our work is not done, but the burden is heavy. Please, one more time, have patience. Not much longer now. Their grace dwindles." Then came this image titled DRNGRY. Apparently, digging into it, DRNGRY refers to Dorian Gray, the protagonist of Oscar's Wilde, The Picture of Dorian Gray, and it's basically just notes that says, "I need you to hear me, please. Don't do..." Actually, if Jandy puts it up, it saves me reading it. Waste a bit of time, yeah. I should have thought that with the last one. So, in the novel, Dorian's portrait bears the weight of his sins, while he remains outwardly beautiful. Whoever this is aimed at does not have such protection. Their sins will be exposed. Then came this. It was like a puzzle, and it was titled, I'm not even going to attempt to read that out, but it was an anagram. It was an anagram which stands for "Sorry for making you do math." And once you've solved the puzzle, it actually reads, "Have you figured it out yet?" So it was kind of they wanted you to waste your time doing this. There was no
There's nothing.
there was nothing. It was literally just for people to waste their time. And then next came an audio file. So it was titled "Advertisement," meaning warning. When played, Morse code can be heard, which when translated says, "Brother, do not be so distracted by the beast that you miss the serpent in the weeds." And if we're sticking with what we did a couple of weeks ago with the whole brother thing and Braun Strowman, who was Braun was up against the beast this week. And if you remember, there was a moment where the Miz wanted to talk to Braun backstage and got interrupted by R-Truth. Is it that the Miz is the snake, is the serpent in the weeds? Because Miz wasn't very happy with Braun not saying he was good enough to take on Braun. Braun sort of pushed him aside. When Miz attacked R-Truth, when Miz attacked R-Truth, who was laughing their head off like it was agreed? Cross. So could we see Miz and Cross, which might lead to the Wyatt Six going after the Final Testament? Just an idea. Then this image titled Words of the Red. Type in the numbers that you see here in the search bar will bring you to an old tweet from Bray, which was this one. Then came this image titled Epistrophe. I think I said that right. It's the repetition of a word at the end of successive clauses or sentences. This repeated YouTube link takes you to a video of Bray Wyatt's return at Extreme Rules 2022. This next image is titled Convergence. The text towards the bottom is a quote by Niccolo Machiavelli. Machiavelli believed that human nature has weaknesses that can be exploited to gain power. Who could this be referring to? The same serpent in the weeds from before, maybe? And then the final image we got is titled Last Chance, and it's backwards, and it reads, liars often set their own trap. So I just think this whole brother thing and them talking about him being distracted by a beast, again, ties into Braun, ties into the beast he was fighting, Bronson, sorry. And then the serpent in the weed, for me, a lot of people seem too focused on it being Xavier. And this is where I want to go to Adam. I think my whole thing's changed in it as well. I was one that was saying that the New Day were going to split up. But now seeing this, I think it's kind of distracted us. And when you actually strip it all back and look at it, The Miz has a problem with Braun Strowman. And he knows he can't go after him by himself. So why not turn on The Miz, form with the team, the group that he's stitched you up against? Because to me, the way Cross was acting and laughing his head off was planned. Like he knew it was coming. He was laughing in Truth's face. So it'd be interesting to see where we go from here. It'd be interesting to see who that bride is, whether it is Nikki. I definitely think we can write out Bliss. I don't know how anyone's seeing that. Yeah, good point. Woods could even still join. The Wyatts have clearly moved on from American Made. They need that next group, and at the moment the Judgment Day have got their own thing going on, the Bloodline have got their own. So what other potential group could it be? And if they're going to go after, if it's going to be the Final Testament, they need one or two new members, don't they, to make such a good match. But it'll be interesting to see where we go. I don't think we see anything at Bad Blood, personally. I think for now we're just getting teased with these promos, QR codes. I think maybe we'll get a couple more weeks of them. Potentially, I know you've got War Game. Do they have a match at War Games potentially? Could they build it between now and then for that? Because you'd like to think one of them would be the Bloodline, wouldn't it? Against the Bad Line. So do they fill the other one with a potential Wyatt Six versus this Final Testament and Miz and or Woods? So yeah, definitely setting up nicely. And that's it.
Wicked, mate. Thank you very much for that.
No worries.
Thanks for your dedication. Like you say, you put in a lot to that.
I literally spend about 5 hours just going through X, mate. Honestly, bookmarking so much during the week, and
there's a lot to dig into, isn't there?
I enjoy it. It is, because you've got to try and break everything down. It's all good me saying, "Oh, look at this picture." I don't know what it means, but
yeah, you got to find a reason, a meaning.
Yeah, exactly.
No, thank you very much for that, mate.
No worries, mate.
Tony, you're next up, mate, with your news.
First off, just want to say that obviously the first Raw on the Netflix. Where am I going? Yeah, so the first Raw. Yep, Jonezy just put it up. So in January, we know that Raw's moving to Netflix. So on the 6th is the first show. WWE are currently looking at they've booked an arena, an 18,000 seater stadium, dome. It's where the LA Lakers, LA Clippers, sorry, they play their home games. It's just in Inglewood, so it's south of SoFi Stadium. So yeah, it's in an area where the crowd will be hot. Be interesting to see what they put on the show for the first Raw. We know it's going to be a big show, so if we get any more information between now and then, I'll share it with you. But that's all I have at the moment. My next part is to do with WrestleMania 41. Can anyone on the panel just guess how much it will cost for a ringside seat for both nights?
$5,000.
$5,000.
18,000.
10.
Okay, so apparently, allegedly, this is what I've done a bit of research over the last couple of days. For both nights at WrestleMania, on row 1, it will cost you $50,000.
Fuck.
That's ridiculous, man. Jesus.
But
There's a but.
Row 2 and row 3 will reportedly cost you only $30,000 for both nights.
How much are kidneys going for on the black market at the minute? Anyone know?
That ringside seat that you get free is well expensive. Jesus.
So then, obviously, that is just ridiculous amount of money. So you'd imagine the further you get back in the stadium, the cheaper it will be. So the one at the back will probably only cost about £500.
I'll sit on the floodlight. I'm alright.
I'll sit on a roof for $20.
Yeah, exactly.
And then that brings me into the Royal Rumble. Obviously, tickets.
Oh, what a goal! Sorry, Aston Villa 1-0. Sorry.
It's fine. So obviously that brings me to Royal Rumble. Obviously on Saturday, the 1st of February, at the Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis. Tickets for that go on sale the 1st of February. Nope, that is the date. Tickets go on sale November the 15th. So I'm going to see how much tickets are going for that and just see if they're actually cheaper than WrestleMania or how much they'll be. So that'll be interesting to see. Next up, according to reports, WWE have entered negotiations with Nia Jax, Liv Morgan, and Rhea Ripley on about signing new contracts. They've said that WWE have been more aggressive lately in trying to tie their superstars to longer deals. They're not waiting for them to expire. They're trying to do them within 6 to 8 months beforehand. So there's no chance that they can go and speak to anybody else. And lastly, on my news it's a sad one for me. Alexa Bliss, obviously, she's been posting things on social and she's been saying that we've seen her in the ring, we've seen her adding the pink to her hair. The comeback is not likely to happen until after the holiday season. So for anyone in the group, you're still going to have me predicting it every single week.
I thought that you was going to say you were going to shut up to the new year.
No chance.
Don't be silly, mate.
So, I mean, the holiday season, I'd imagine probably Rumble, WrestleMania, that would probably be more realistic. But that's all from me.
Cheers, mate. Thank you very much for that. Excellent work as usual. Just want to touch on, before we wrap up the show and that tonight, the sad news that we lost Pete Rose, who was in and around the WWE, especially some great storylines and cameos he had with Kane. Them two were quite hilarious together. So we just wanted to, as a channel and as a show, just to pay our respects to Pete Rose, who we sadly lost this week. Thoughts are with your family at the sad time, mate. So yeah, we're going to go on to next on this day in WWE history. So, on this day in WWE history, October 2nd, 1999, does anybody know what event it was? It was in Birmingham in the UK.
Was it one night only?
Insurrection?
Nope, close with Insurrection. It was the other one. Can you remember what it was named?
Rebellion?
No.
Rebellion. It was a
Rebellion.
rebellion indeed. Here we have it. It was Rebellion live from Birmingham, UK. It was exclusively only streamed in the UK, so US viewers weren't able to watch this event. So then they knew how it felt back then when we could only watch it now and again. The main event was The Rock versus Triple H in a steel cage match. As you can see, I've got a bit more information here. I'll run through it because some of the matches, when you look back on it, can't remember it, but we had Jeff Jarrett. He took on European champion D'Lo Brown. It was Intercontinental and the European title. Both titles were up for grabs, but they had to decide which belt was on the line via coin toss, heads or tails. That's how they determined it. Back then, you wouldn't get that in this day and age. The Godfather defeated Gangrel following a pimp drop. Great move that was called. We had Val Venus defeat Mark Henry. We had the British Bulldog who confronted Vince McMahon. He wanted a WWF title shot at the time, but didn't get one. We had the Women's Championship Four Corners match. I don't know if anyone can remember that. We had Ivory, Jacqueline, Luna, and Tori.
Four Corners match.
Yeah, Four Corners. We had Chris Jericho defeated the Road Dogg as well. And we then had an intergender match. We had Chyna versus Jeff Jarrett. When the British Bulldog come down and interfered, he clotheslined Chyna, resulting in her victory via disqualification.
Jarrett had 2 matches.
Yeah, Jeff Jarrett put in double shift that night.
Double shift.
The match concluded when he made Chyna pass out in a figure 4 leg lock.
As you do.
Interesting. Strong man. But yeah, we had then a no disqualification match with Kane defeated the Big Show. He used a body slam to beat the Big Show. Hogan and Andre the Giant-esque vibes there. But no, we had the main event was obviously the steel cage match for the WWF title at the time. Triple H defended his title against The Rock. The Bulldog come out during the match when The Rock is tempted to escape. He knocked him down and trying to hit him in the head. I don't know if you can remember with the door. And Triple H escaped the cage. So it was what were they called back in the day? The Corporation. Getting the victory there. So yeah, I just thought I'll bring it back with a blast from the past there. And then we've got Mr. Thompson and Stephen Man got a bin chucked to her head. Yes, that has happened. That was in the Wikipedia notes. British Bulldog threw a bin at her, which was eventually. And we have David as well here. He would like, does Adam have a segment with his own special music? He could well do if he wants one.
David may or may not be my cousin. That's unconfirmed rumours at this time. Maybe I'll speak to you soon, but yeah, maybe we'll think of something.
Yeah, if you want a segment, mate, you're more than welcome to have one. But yeah, that was your basically on this day in WWE history. So yeah, guys, before we wrap up tonight, obviously we got Bad Blood on Saturday, so you guys get your predictions into me on Friday, the latest, please, in the evening, just so I can have them all ready. We will be doing a live watch along, so if you want to join us from 11 o'clock on Saturday night, we'll be watching it live. But today as well marks 50 days for our current TRT champion, who is Craig here. He deserves his flowers. He really does. And I just wanted to say, guys, acknowledge him.
Oh, there we go. Cheers.
Okay. 2 of them in there.
Tony's on the fence. I'm still getting a thumbs down from Tarek.
But you know what? Some people say that the Rock versus Austin promo at WrestleMania is probably the greatest video package ever.
God.
Hold your hats, guys. 1 minute, 12 seconds of greatness. There you go, guys. I think Craig deserves his flowers.
That was very cool.
And I've
Played that,
recorded.
you.
Yeah, well, yeah, bit of Craig, bit of me.
I did the last one. I was going to put it in the group, but when Jonesy said he might be putting something together, I said I'll send it to him and he can do what he wants with it.
Mr. Tom
Nice.
thinks you should steal Roman's stealing his gimmick.
I
No,
definitely
and by
should.
the way, just for comedic effect, Craig, I've recorded Tony and Tariq's reactions through that video because you couldn't see what I could see.
Perfect. I can't wait to see that.
So I'll pass it on to you. But no, guys, come and get involved on Saturday. You can try and take the title from this man. Play your quiet. But
Yeah,
no,
I'm quite surprised you did. We'll have to do that if we get to 50 days. We'll have to share the Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch one I photoshopped. Mr. Tom will like that.
we'll have to do that one. But no, come and get involved and try and take the title from him. Try and take the tag titles from us as well, which will be very interesting to see what happens with predictions and stuff like that. But no, just want to say thank you to everyone tonight. Mr. Tom, as always, in the chat. Thank you very much for contributing, sending in your comments. Like I say, any questions, always throw them into us. We'll answer them to the best of our knowledge. So, yeah, just want to say good night to everyone. So, Adam, thank you very much for coming on, mate. Good night.
Thanks, mate. Good night. Always a pleasure to be here.
Excellent, very much. And Tariq, thank you very much for coming on tonight, pal.
Thanks for having me. Brilliant show, apart from the last bit, of course.
And Tony, you look very happy with that last segment. Thank you for coming on tonight.
I can't believe you recorded it. That's violation. But yeah, no, it's always a pleasure.
Excellent. And Craig, congratulations. 50 days, mate.
Cheers,
long
mate.
may it continue, but not for Tony and
Yeah,
Tariq.
well, not for some people, no, yeah. Thanks for putting that together, mate. Means a lot. I know it's a bit of time and effort from your part, so yeah, appreciate that, mate. Thank you.
No worries at all. And Mr. Tom, I am currently watching it.
I'm going to start it tomorrow.
Yeah, we might touch on this next week when we do a review show because I think it is worth talking about.
Yeah, I need to have a watch.
So yeah, if you guys have a watch of it, and we can get together and speak about it on next week's show. But no, guys. So right, on to Bad Blood we go. Let's see what happens. Thank you very much, guys. Good night.